going on, Mikey? It's 9 o'clock Wednesday night, and where the hell else would you rather be, Mike? It's the Mike and Mish Show. What's happening, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's up, man? I didn't even know we were live. Holy shit, that happened quick. I think I swore within 30 seconds. Damn it.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you get some stressors in your life, and it makes you say the F-bomb, and you start swearing in front of your kids, and then they tell you to put $1 in a jar, and you're like, we don't even have a swear jar, and they're fucking making things up now, and you swear more. You know what I mean?
Is shit even a bad word anymore? Because
I don't think so.
Do you remember back when South Park had the episode where cable, I don't know what FCC or whatever, maybe they okayed like the word shit after 10 o'clock. So South Park had an episode that night, and they had an episode where they had a shit counter in the corner, and they said shit like a couple hundred times within a half an hour.
Well, dude, I don't think shit is a bad word. And speaking of shit,
I yesterday was shit all the time.
Listen, it was the 4th of July yesterday, Mike, and you know what I did? Listen to this. Oh,
what'd you do?
What do we have here? I competed in the Stonington Invitational Horseshoe.
Did you?
Stonington Horseshoe Invitational Tournament.
Oh, you should have told me about it.
It is the 20th annual Stonington Horseshoe Invitational Tournament. Me and my buddy Scott joined kind of last minute. Haven't thrown a horseshoe in 20 years. Came in 3rd place. Look at that.
Nice.
Ringer equals 3rd.
Man, I would love to do that. I'm a big horseshoe player. I love playing horseshoes.
Well, son of a bitch, next year you get in the shit, dude.
I used to play horseshoes all the damn time. All
really?
The mother freaking time. Oh yeah, I love it. Look at this guy. What a trophy. Proudly on display.
I put it out there, dude. Yeah. What a trophy it is. Who said that? Somebody say that in the comments? No.
I don't know. I said.
Listen, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it, Mike. We're gonna talk about a lot of things tonight. We are exactly halfway through the year of 2023. 13 events have gone past. Probably another 13 more to round out the year. I think at the beginning of the year, David Feldman, or I think in December when he was on the show, he said they were shooting for 30 events this year. I don't know if they're going to reach that at this point.
I thought he said 40.
Well, I think he did at first, but then
that was like
dialed it back.
That's a lot.
Participation trophy, Big Ben. Fuck off, my friend.
He said third place.
Third place.
That's bronze.
Okay.
Even the Olympics
not that anybody gives a fuck.
Place.
Listen, not that anybody.
There was only 5 people that entered, so it was 2, and then one guy who had to just give up.
No, so here's what happened. There was 14 teams, double elimination. Me and Scott joined, and you know what? We had to play last year's defending champs first round, and you know what happened? 15-2 victory by these guys. 15-2. Moved on to the second round. What did we do? 15-8. These guys.
Did they do real rules, or did leaners count?
Leaners count.
Yeah. I think in the official rules, a leaner isn't a thing, but.
Oh, really?
3
for a ringer, 2 for a leaner, and 1 for everything else. And the games were to 15, not 21. And you had to win by 2. And dude, after we won the first 2, we sat out for like an hour and 20 minutes waiting for our next game, had a few beers. Then we lost our fucking touch, lost 1, went to the losers bracket, came back, won 3 in a row, and then lost in the semifinals. So Big Ben, shut up. All right. So hey, listen, we're gonna be talking about a lot of things tonight. Let's shout out our sponsors real quick, and then we'll get right fucking into it. What do you say?
Norcom Mortgage and Michael Mish are delivering the American dream to those who serve America, helping veterans obtain the dream of home ownership. They offer programs that include no money down, no first-time homebuyer requirement, 100% cash-out refinances, rehab loans. They can help you purchase a home, purchase a condo, refinance an existing mortgage, create a dream home with rehab loan. To learn more, visit www.michaelmish.norcommortgage.com or call 860-884-2103.
(884-2103). Call Mike Mish and he can help you out with all your homeowner needs. And then get over to Bareknuckle Corn Snacks and buy yourself some tasty popcorn. They've been rolling up with us this entire 2023 campaign, pretty much. They got delicious treats. Get over there and eat some. And BKBetShark, he's still rolling. He got back on his horse during that Rico Franco Harris fight card, Mike. He said he wasn't going to make any bets. He went in there, threw some money down on a few, and hit. And the BKBetShark is back on his horse, man. He was very successful in that Newcastle card. So, like we always tell you, you should go over there at BKBetShark and follow his wise words and stack your BK account.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what? Remember when we were going to follow that guy, Luca, whatever the hell his name is for UFC? We're like, you know what? We're going to follow this guy and we're just going to keep placing bets. And then we never ended up doing it. But with the BKBetShark, you just keep placing bets with this guy. He had like one bad week out of 7 weeks. So
he's been on a roll, man.
Depending on what you're putting down, if you're putting hundreds or thousands of dollars like him, you would be up way, way, way up right now. You'd be 20, 30 grand right now.
Yo, I know a guy, right? I heard this yesterday at the 4th of July party that I was at. This dude bet on this is you got to be some sort of brilliant gambler for this shit. NBA Summer League basketball. He took the over on 4 games and then bet on 2 players in the major leagues to get 1 hit in each one of their games. $250 bet won him $33,000.
He parlayed all that stuff together.
He parlayed 4 Summer League games to hit the over.
Yep.
And then 2 Major League Baseball players to get 1 hit in each one of their games. And he hit all 6 and landed 33,000 plus on a $250 bet. Can you fucking imagine that, dude? Your summer just got better.
Yeah. I'm afraid to become a degenerate gambler. That's why I get nervous, because I see all these people winning and I start winning. I might become a degenerate soon.
That shit just, I would take the rest of the summer off. I know you can't.
$33,000 pretty quick.
Yeah, no shit. But anyways, dude.
Check it out. So I was going to ask you this, and what's funny is that earlier Bareknuckle Corn Snacks crossed my mind, and I thought to myself, did we ever send to Russ any Bareknuckle Corn Snacks? And
listen,
then I just see right here, and he says, "Where are my corn snacks, yo?"
I'm gonna send him 2 of every fucking flavor that I have tomorrow. God damn it. Mark my words. Oh man. Yeah, I promise, Russ. I know it's kind of been a joke now that we've been fucking blowing you off with that. And it's not even, we're not even forgetting about you. We're not blowing you off. We're just completely forgetting. That's all. That's what it comes down to, dude.
Yeah. Hey, we're a couple of stew nods. I got to tell you, just to go off a little bit into the outside of what we're doing right here, we're definitely fucking veering out of control, steering right off of the highway.
No, we'll get on in a second.
But we're going to bring back the stew nod of the week. I know it's a missed segment on the show. A lot of people love the stew nod of the week. We're going to come up with some new stuff, revamp the show, and do some new things. Keep it fresh. So, dude, that'll be coming back soon with some other segments.
Oh, the stew nod of the week, and we need to get stew nod t-shirts made. There's a lot we got to do, but you know what? Right now we're in the busiest time of the year for us and with work and shit, and it's fucking driving me crazy. And I'm about to go away to school, so we're gonna keep driving on and trying to get this thing better. Love the stew nod of the week. Me too, Big Ben. Hey, before we get I'll name a stew nod of the week right now. Did you see this video of Jalen Turner getting pranked? Jalen Turner from the UFC. No. This is a perfect example of how people think that you could call something a prank or something a joke. It's a joke. It's just a prank. It's just a joke, and make you and think that you're okay and you're not going to get fucking smacked. This dude walks up behind Jalen Turner and 2 other guys on an escalator, and the guy's got his phone up to his neck, and he's like, "Nah, I'll smack all 3 of these motherfuckers, him and his boys." And he's staring right at Jalen Turner as he's saying it. Jalen grabs him by the throat and puts him fucking down on the escalator. And he's like, I'm on the phone, man. It's just a joke. It's just a joke, man. It's just a joke. And his boy pulls Jalen off and he gets on top of him and he's about to fucking smack him. And he's like, it's just a joke, man. It's just a prank. And he's like, are you kidding me? I'll smack the fucking shit out of you. You fucking kidding me? And the guy's like, it's just a prank, man. That dude's the student out of the week because he is the epitome of most people on the internet right now that think that they could just fucking call something a prank or call something a joke and then not realize that one day they're going to step in front of somebody that's going to fucking check them on that shit. And now you're even more of a story than your prank would have been. Student out of the week, that guy.
I was looking for it right now, but I couldn't find the clip. I was going to see if I could play it here. But yeah, that happens a lot. You know, the guys that I always see these, and you know what? It works. It pulls me right in. I'm watching YouTube, and then all of a sudden I see, you know, guy in a ghetto, right? It's some white dude walking
Throwing
in the ghetto,
fake gang signs,
and he's doing dumb shit, really dumb shit. And I know didn't someone get shot like a year ago doing this because people pull these pranks? They're stupid. They're so dumb. And you know what? It's for some clout on the internet. And
for
then all
some
of a sudden
likes.
you have a friggin' bullet between your eyes. I mean, it's really dumb. It's really dumb.
Those guys are fucking idiots. They're the epitome of a Stunod. So there you go. Stunod of the week's back, kind of semi all the, like, you know, on the spot. But Mike, we're here tonight to talk about the first half of the 2023 campaign.
Yeah.
We'll guys, we're gonna breeze through some of these categories. Remember, we did the Mission Accomplished Bareknuckle Awards last year. It was a big hit. The awards came out great, and we had some categories, and we're gonna add some more categories this year. But just right now, 6 months is over. We're into the 7th month of the year. We'll go through some of them. We're not going to go really too deep into the first one because there's only really 2 to talk about.
And if you guys have input on this, definitely put it in the comments. Hey, if you have a favorite female fighter of the year so far, you have a favorite male fighter. If we have a knockout we don't talk about, definitely
let's go, boy.
Shout out,
let's go, boy.
Definitely shout out, let's go, boy. Put it in the comment and let's see what you got, and we'll talk about those too. And then maybe we'll even add them at the end of the year as a contender if we think that it is good enough to be added. So
let's do it, man. So 2023 has been awesome so far, and there's been 13 events for BKFC this year. But out of the 13, right, two are the only candidates for event of the year so far, right, Mike? There's only Knuckle Mania 3 and BKFC 41 in Denver. Knuckle Mania 3 out in Albuquerque, Lorenzo Hunt, Mike Richman up at the top of that card. It was the debut of Austin Trout and Diego Sanchez, John Dotson and Jared Grant, as you see there. But you also saw Josh Watson knock out Greg Hardy. Eric Dotson was on there again. It was a fucking fantastic card.
Oh yeah.
And
Teresa Segal like broke her ankle, whatever the hell happened there.
Yeah, against Jamie Hinshaw. That was awesome. She tried to reset her own ankle in that fight. It was fucking nuts. That was a crazy card. There was a scary moment at the beginning of the night with Soto.
Yeah.
But you had Kevin Kroom getting another knockout. Yeah, man. It was an awesome night that could only be topped or maybe not by BKFC 41 out in Denver. Of course, that was the Perry Rockhold. Oh my God, you see it right there. The incredible women's fight between Christine Faria and Beck Rollins. God damn it, we got that thing stolen from us. That should have went longer. I know that we don't ever want to question the doc's calls on that one, but that one was really starting to heat up when it got stopped. Big Ben Rothwell just put in a fucking clinch game clinic on with Josh Copeland. Chris Camozzi gets another first round knockout. It was incredible. And then, of course, like one of the best bare knuckle fights you'll ever see in the existence of the sport right now. Eddie Alvarez and Chad Mendes, both trading knockdowns, fighting to the very last bell. They both knocked each other down, I think, in the last minute of the fight. It was fucking incredible. And then Perry does what he does. Connor gets in the ring. What do you think about this, Mike?
Chael, P. Sonnen. That's what I think. Okay. Hey, we're all talking about the fights. That was like probably the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. We're going to make Chael P, right? Dylan Weinmiller walking back from Chael P. I'm walking downstairs and I missed the entire fight. That's what happened. I walked down a staircase and missed the whole fight. 7 seconds. I remember just like walking and talking to you about how cool it was to meet Chael. And I start walking down the stairs and I look up and like they're fighting and I look down and then ding, ding. I'm like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? I just got back. Whoa. I just went down a flight of steps and the fucking fight was over. So,
dude,
Dylan Weinmiller, wow.
Unbelievable. The whole
shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, the whole night was amazing. And then Gabby Roman, who's going to be fighting at this next card coming up, she got, short notice a fight against Courtney Cameron. I don't know if you guys know, are familiar with her, but Gabby Roman is 5'2", and Courtney Cameron's a big girl, man. She's probably 5'6", 5'7". She's a pretty big girl. And for Gabby Roman to take that fight on a week's notice, 10 days notice,
I don't even think
fly out there by herself. Yeah, she flew out there by herself. I don't even know if it was that much time.
I thought it was a couple of days.
Yeah, flew out there by herself, shows up alone, doesn't really have a corner, and she goes to a fucking draw with Courtney Cameron. That was absolutely insane. The whole card was amazing. If I had to pick one of those two events, I would say 41 was the bigger, better card than Knucklemania 3, but Knucklemania 3 was fucking great too, man.
Yeah.
And Knucklemania 3 had one of the craziest main events of all time.
It did. And you're going to see in our categories that main event played a big role right in the beginning of the year for a bunch of different categories. And it was so crazy. What a roller coaster of emotions. But I think overall that BKFC 41 card changed my entire life. I keep saying it. Outside of the birth of my daughter or when I got married, when people always do that, hey, this is the best. And they go, oh, but what about your daughter when your daughter was born? I'm like, well, are we even comparing this right now? It's something else. But BKFC 41, incredible. The lead up to it, all the fights on it, the crowd, the people that were there for it, just the event. It was so crazy in the back. So many famous people, fighters were there. It was just unbelievable. And then the after party, Beck Rawlings, Chris Camozzi, after party at Tom's Watch Bar that we hosted with a bunch of friends of ours that we met. And man, fantastic. I mean, Kai Stewart and Neil Magny on our show. That was for just a couple minutes, but that was awesome. I mean, just little crazy things like that. Lorenzo Hunt, Cyrus Fees, Chris Lytle, Elvin Brito was there.
Kamaru Usman, Cowboy Cerrone, Rose. It was crazy. And they're kicking off. And right before we came on live here, Mike and I were talking about this. And the first half of the 2023 year, really, Knucklemania 3 and 41 are the really only two that are probably going to make that conversation at the end of the year. What are the best events of the year? The one that is starting off the second half of the year, dude, BKFC 47 in Lakeland, Florida next week is such a fucking incredible card. And the best part about this card, like I was saying to Mike before we went live here, the best part about this card is that fucking card is so goddamn stacked from top to bottom with incredible fights. The main event and the co-main event, of course, but with the Seth Schaefer and Brandon Allen, you got Ryan Reber and Travis Thompson, you got Gabriel Fryer and Alex Wright. Is it Alex Wright? Kyle Wright? What the fuck is his name? Jesus Christ. Either way, Martina Kroll's back on the card. She's fighting Gabby Roman. Josh Wright. You got T. Murph back. You got Crystal Pittman back. It's like this card is so good for the bare knuckle community because it does not have that outside superstar at the top. You know what I mean? Mike Richmond,
are the greatest. That's what I love. I love that these superstars are going to be coming from inside the organization rather from outside, so to say. The building up their talent.
And even though Mike Richmond had a really good career outside of the BKFC, I think he's like becoming a star in the BKFC. So to have Mike Richmond and Dave Mundell, these two guys that were both good MMA fighters, really. Dude, Dave Mundell's only loss is to fucking Hector Lombard, and it was at 205 pounds, and Hector Lombard weighed 214. He missed,
watching that again, and I would tell everyone to look up this fight with Mundell and
Yeah, tell me
Hector,
how he
and
lost.
you tell us what you think about who won that fight, how you scored it, because we were watching it the other day at work, and I don't know how they scored it for Hector. We were thinking because maybe he was a little bit more, he had more ring control, but
That's
that doesn't
it.
mean anything if you're not
That's
doing
about
much.
it, though.
He definitely hit 3 times after the bell in like round 3. And then at the end of the fight, he like ran in with a headbutt, like on purpose. And even Dermagliata
Yeah.
at the end was like, that was not a punch, that was a headbutt.
Yeah.
So, and then one judge had it like 4 rounds
4
to
1
1
Hector.
for Lombard. It was
That dude.
nuts.
That dude was crazy.
Yeah.
Man, it's a fantastic card. The co-main, the main, Brandon Allen and Schaefer is a fucking fantastic one. So that's forecasting, that's foreshadowing the future. So far, first half of the year, 41, Knucklemania 3. Those will probably be in the running for event of the year at the end of the year when we do our awards. Let's see how 47 lands because it looks fantastic on paper. I can't wait to talk about that later, especially after next week. Male fighter. We're gonna do male fighter and female fighter of the year this year because we did just one fighter of the year category last year, and the only reason why we did that last year was because Christine Faria was really the only choice. Like there was no other choice last year than Christine, so we lumped her right in with the dudes, and it was like one category fighter of the year. Vote on whoever you want to vote, and she was in there with the fellas last year. But this year we'll do a male and a female. Male fighters of the year right now so far, Mike. You got Lorenzo, who's 1-0, who's probably going to fight one more time. He'll be in the running. He defended his 185 title, unified the belt at 185 against Mike Richmond with the spectacular comeback knockout. Here's who I got, and then I'll ask you what you think. Rico Franco is now 3-0 in the BKFC this year. 3-0, 1 knockout, 2 technical knockouts, and he put one of the craziest fucking beatings we've seen in the main event in Newcastle just this past week. Recency bias, maybe, but
it was
for him to be now 3-0 in 6 months, and he looked like he could probably fight next month coming out of that fight. That fight was crazy. 3-0 with 3 knockouts so far. I got Rico Franco in the running, and my other choice, I would say, and I'm also, foreshadowing here too, because who knows what happens in Albuquerque August 11th. John Dotson went out there at Knucklemania 3 and finished Jared Grant. Jared Grant is a former champion, and he's going to be fighting J.R. Ridge for the inaugural 125 title in August. And if John Dotson wins that 125 title and has the finish of Jared Grant, I would say that he's probably going to be in the running for fighter of the year as well. What are your thoughts?
That the other night with the Rico Franco fight, that was insane. We could probably talk about that a little bit more in depth because I thought that was ridiculous. It's kind of how long that fight went on. But let's move on to Dodson first here. Dodson has rolled he really has rolled into the BKFC. I mean, basically exactly how I kind of thought he would, because he was really good in the UFC. He had never been knocked down. I don't think he's ever been knocked down. Never been knocked out, obviously. So he fought Demetrius Johnson. He lost, but he didn't get his ass beat. You know what I mean? Like most people do. He knocked
out TJ Dillashaw.
Powerful, just explosive guy. And he came in he fought Benoit. That was good. Or Benoit, however you want to say it. After that fight, where it's like, what are they going to give him next? Are they going to have him build up to someone? Nope. They're going to give him the champ. Basically, They give him Jared Grant. Jared Grant was coming off of a loss, but Jared Grant is no slouch. He was a champ for a reason. And Dotson came in and showed him what he's all about, man. So I can't wait for that JR Ridge fight. And next month we're in July. So next month against JR Ridge,
We'll get to
August
see it.
11th. Whoo, it's going to be crazy. But let's, and then we talked about Lorenzo Hunt earlier, and we're talking about him again, and we're going to be talking about him a few more times tonight. So I actually have a video queued up for a comeback when we get to comeback, because it's just, he was insane. But let's talk about Rico Franco for a second before we move on. What did you think about that fight the other day? And do you think that the ref should have allowed the fight to get past
The second round?
Yeah, how far do you think it should have been, and when do you think it should have been stopped?
I think that, and this is no shot against Caleb Harris. He's super tough and too tough for his own good, maybe. That ref should have probably stopped it in the second round. I believe he got knocked down 5 times and maybe a 6th. He was almost out on his feet. One of the times he stood up and was putting his mouthpiece in, like, the ref's asking him if he's all right. He didn't fucking say a word back to him. He just looked at the dude and kind of looked zombie-ish. And he was like, all right, go ahead, continue fighting. And then fucking, 3 more times on the canvas, and then a 6th one, but it happened after the bell. I honestly think that it should have never went past that round, to be honest. Like, I think if they were fighting in America, one of our referees would have stopped the fight. That's my thought. And 9 knockdowns in the fight. Yeah, hats off to the toughness of Caleb Harris, but I don't know, that there was some questionable refereeing there.
Yeah, I agree. I think it went a little bit too far, because when I find myself yelling at the screen, like, I want to see blood, I want to see people getting up, I'm always like mad when, like, oh, I should have went on longer. Like the Beck Rawlings, we were just saying, like the cut, should have let it keep going. Like, you get mad. But this one, when Caleb fell, I think it might have been the 3rd time possibly, and his mouthpiece came out. So he fell, the ref starts counting, the mouthpiece comes out and bounces off the ground. At that point, I thought he was kind of calling it off himself. Like, hey, I was on the ground for like 2 or 3 seconds. I spit my mouthpiece out, like, kind of that's over. The ref grabs the mouthpiece and
stops at 8, right? It was an 8. He was
he gets up, and he's not quite all the way up. He's a little shaky, doesn't even have his mouthpiece, and the ref's just like, here you go. And he doesn't even ask him, like you said, any questions. And he just turns around and goes, let's go. And Caleb keeps fighting. That's why they call him Lionheart. I really appreciate how strong he is, man. What a tough guy. I love the fight. And yes, we got to see him almost. He hits Franco later on, but in my opinion, we shouldn't even have known that happened. You know what I mean? We should have never even saw that.
It was like the movie Snatch when Mickey's fighting Gorgeous George in that barn, and Gorgeous George keeps fucking putting Mickey down, and then he goes right through the barn wall, like through the wall, and he goes, now stay down, it's over. And they lift that wall up, and he pops up, he goes, you fight till the job's done. That's what it was. It was Mickey getting knocked down by Gorgeous George constantly until the fucking, but in this case, that shit just went to the bell. So, I mean, do you have anybody else besides Lorenzo we know that Lorenzo's going to fight again, and it's either going to be at 205, probably against like Chris Camozzi. It wouldn't be Houston Alexander, I don't think. It would be Camozzi probably, or he goes up to heavyweight and fights Arnold Adams or Big Ben, somebody for the heavyweight title. Either one of those fights, if he comes out victorious and is 2-0, he's absolutely a shoe-in for candidate for Fighter of the Year. And I think if John Dotson pulls off that win against JR Ridge, which I believe John Dotson has the most power in a 125-pound fighter's hands that maybe we've ever seen. That dude hits like a fucking, light heavyweight, and he weighs 125 pounds. So those two guys get through their next opponents. They're all in that category. Is there another fighter? Oh, Tony Loco Soto. Right? Loco Soto is 2-0. That one just popped into my head. Loco Soto had a late fight replacement with Wanya Reed in Myrtle Beach. Started off the year with a win. He introduced the King of the Carolinas to us that night. And then he goes out there and he puts up a possible Fight of the Year candidate with Tyler Goodjohn. So that would be probably another name that I would throw in there. So Loco Soto, Juggernaut Hunt, John Dotson, Rico Franco. Those are probably like the 4, right?
There's somebody in the comments, Doug Coltrane, who is He could be, depending if he fights again this year,
Right.
and
He's
he's on his
2-0
way
right now,
up
right?
too. He's right at the top there. So if he fights, for a belt this year or fights for a contendership, he could fall into that. I hate to say rookie because he did fight in 2022, so this isn't his first year technically.
Right.
Even though I think it's within a year. Oh no, April would have been. So he could fall in, and there was somebody else I was thinking of, and it's
Big Ben
escaped my
says
mind.
Keith Richardson in the he's 2-0 right now as well. That's what we want you to do, guys. We want you to drop
Yep.
names in. Scott Farley, I agree with you. Now that I said Tony out loud, Tony Loco Soto is absolutely a strong candidate for fighter of the year right now as well. Let's move on to the female fighter of the year, because this is going to be a quick conversation. There's only two that could possibly hit. They both fought once. They're both champions. Britain Hart defended her title against Jenny Savage down in Virginia, and Christine Faria defended her title against Beck Rollins out in Denver. I mean, who else would we even have in this conversation, Mike, besides the 125-pound champ and the 115-pound champ?
Right now, I mean, you can name other people, you know what I mean? Like you could say like this female fought, but the thing is that these two are champions. They're at the championship level, and they both fought and they both won. So even if somebody ends up in the category, can they really win against somebody who's fighting as a champion and winning? Unless somebody comes in and beats one of those two or has multiple wins within a small span, I don't think that anyone's going to be able to like step in front of them too.
Right. Exactly.
It's going to be
in
really
the 2022 and 2023 year, they've both only fought once. I'm assuming they're both going to get one more fight before the year ends. So, there's the fight between, and if you remember, and if you're basing it on these two fights, honestly, you got Christine and Beck in this absolute barn burner. And this is in this one, Jenny even told us afterwards, like, she kind of didn't fight the way she wanted to fight. She didn't engage as much as she wanted to engage. And Britain kind of just did her thing out there in front of her home state and got the win. You move out to Denver, these two, one's a champ, one's a former Police Gazette champ. They were trading shots. They were both landing on each other. That fight was getting more and more exciting as it went on. You had Conor McGregor losing his fucking mind next to the stage. You can see him right there in the picture, like jumping up and down with David Feldman. That was an exciting ass fight. A lot of people were saying that Christine was just settling in, but then a lot of people would say that Beck seemed to be settling in as well. They were both landing really good shots. And that we fell victim to the sport of bare knuckle there. A cut ends it, and it happens a lot. It was a fucking awesome fight. So, the victor in that one was Misfit. It was the more exciting of the two title fights. I would say right now, Christine Faria is probably the front runner for female fighter of the year.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. And hey, as crazy as it might sound, because I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, what the hell? We're gonna have Beck fight, but she just lost," But look what we got. I think it was the right choice. And call me crazy, but I want to see them run it back, because that cut got like, that's the thing. Everybody was into that fight, and I was really just like, "Oh my god!" The guy was like, next to the ring, loving it. I was standing there. I was taking some pictures and video of Conor, like yelling outside the ring. There was a few guys behind me. We started talking. I actually took a picture. They were like, "Took a picture of us." And then I turn around and they're like, "Oh, the fight stopped. The fight stopped." And I'm like, no, because it was getting really good. That was a really good fight. I loved it. I loved it so much. It was so good.
It was. And like we did with the event of the year, like we forecasted that this next event could be in the running. If it plays out the way it looks on paper, the fucking event's going to be amazing. There's a girl on that card. Say Gabby Roman, who went to a draw with Courtney Cameron. Now, I'm not saying that this girl would outvote Faria or Beck. Faria or Britain in a fighter of the year, female fighter of the year category. But if Gabby Roman took that Courtney Cameron fight on short notice, Fought a girl at 145 pounds. She's 5'2", goes out there, fights to a draw on short notice against Courtney Cameron, and then goes down to Lakeland, Florida, and pulls off a win against Martina Kroll, the boogie woman, the one that everybody has been wanting to see back in there ever since she put on a clinic against Liebarger a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
If she was to go out there and look incredible and pull off a win there, and go 1-0-1 right now, and then maybe fight one more time this year, that would be the only, like, that's the only person I can think of. Or maybe Jade, if Jade gets another fight and it's a significant, like if they matched up Beck Rollins and Jade and she pulled off a win over Beck, maybe a 2-0 campaign against Taylor Starling and Beck Rollins would be in the running as well.
Yeah, I would probably. Yeah, I mean, we could throw her in a Rookie of the Year, running that. She could win that category.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We have the Rookie of the Year. We don't have it male and female because I don't think there would be enough females starting off, but there might be.
And the funny thing is, like we talked about last show, she was supposed to make her debut in BKFC 20.
Yeah.
27
that
events
was a
ago.
long time ago.
Yeah, 27 events ago, she was supposed to make her debut. She ended up making it at 41. And now here she is back at 47. So those are our two mid-year candidates for female fighter of the year. It's Britton Hart and Christine Faria, and really nobody else right now. Dude, fight of the year. This was like...
Oh, that's how he said, Vicens. That's who needs to fight Jade. Oh, no, they already fought. And she beat Jade. Now Jade won. But now they're like back at the top again. See, this is what's crazy.
Do you run that one back? I don't know.
I thought, no, I don't think you do because... She did win, so that's my mistake. I thought about it and then corrected myself within a second. So, yeah, that already happened. So you would have to go. Vicens would have to take that spot if there was a shot, or
she's got to fight somebody.
She's got to fight somebody. But who's going to fight? Because everybody at that point has lost, and those two have won recently. So they're like, hey, that's a toughie right there.
Scott Farley, hold that thought. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But fight of the year, dude. Right off the rip, first event of the year, the first fight that I thought of when it came to fight of the year so far. There's been 3 that were in my head. The first one that popped in was at the very first event, BKFC 35 in Myrtle Beach. 2 debuters in the BKFC, both with long, successful MMA careers. And these guys were supposed to fight 2 or 3 times in their MMA career. They just never worked out, whether somebody had to pull out for an injury or personal reasons or whatever. The fights just never got made. Keith Richardson against Justin Scoggins in Myrtle Beach was fan-fucking-tastic. They were trading knockdowns. It was a bloody war. It was 2 guys that go in there to absolute bang. It could have gone either way when it went to the judges. Like, it was unbelievable. And Keith Richardson had lost his father a week earlier, and his father meant the world to him. And he was going in there very emotional. We talked to him before the fight. We talked to him after the fight. It was like he had a really heavy heart going in there that night, and he put it out. He put it on the line for his old man. And those 2 guys, look at these photos, man.
Yeah, these 2. There wasn't many photos that came out of this professionally from BKFC, but the few that they put out were insane, dude. Like, look at this. And then look at Scoggins in this picture. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy, dude. That event,
God.
I mean, that fight was just bell to bell action the whole fucking time. It was a fight, like I said, that had been made 2 or 3 times over. It just always fell through. They never got the scrap in MMA. It would have been a whole different fight because they would have been on the floor. They're both wrestlers. They both got a ground game. Who knows? We got treated to an absolute fucking gem at the first event of the year. Scoggins and Richardson. Now, another fight that popped into my head, obviously, at BKFC 41 in Denver, Eddie Alvarez versus Chad Mendes. I mean, Eddie Alvarez and Chad Mendes was fucking unbelievable. It was unbelievable. They were doing the same thing. They were trading knockdowns. They both knocked each other down in the last minute of the fight. It was like Eddie landed that uppercut, pointed out to McGregor on the side. It was like both of these guys had fought and lost to him. So that was kind of a neat fucking addition to the fight. but it was like right down to the bell. They never stopped fighting each other. They were, like I said, just trading shots all the way to the end of the fight. And that last minute of the fight was like one of the best minutes of bare knuckle fighting that you'll see because of the knockdowns in the last 30 seconds and then the fucking hug.
Look at that shot.
I mean, it was unreal, dude. That fight was. I ended up because when we're down there on the floor watching. It's incredible and like, yeah, it's fucking awesome to
What's
be.
crazy is who we watched this fight with. It's just like a mix of people, but it was, do you remember who we were watching this with?
Sangari was there. I think Lorenzo Hunt was over there.
Yeah.
Tommy Clohessy. Yeah, there was a group.
DJ Tony.
And DJ. Yeah, it was cool, man. It was nuts.
And some cops. There was like 3 or 4 cops. Do you remember that? And we were talking to them.
Yeah. Because they thought they were. You remember who they said they thought was kind of going to be coming through the door, and they were like, "Oh, you got to." These guys, these cops, were standing over by the door, like while this fight was going on, and they're like, "Yeah, we heard The Rock might be walking in here," and we're like, "Wait a second, The Rock? Are you fucking joking right now?" They're like, "I don't know, man, fucking." Blah,
yeah,
blah.
The Rock.
Yeah, it was.
Had me standing at the door for like 15 minutes because so we kind of stayed there and watched the fight because we thought The Rock was about to walk in the door, and we're like, "Oh, we got to get The Rock on film talking about BKFC."
Yeah,
The Rock
it was crazy.
And McGregor, come on.
But like you said, we ended up turning around, like turning our back to the ring, and we were all watching it on the big screen above us because we were getting a better view of the action that was going on the screen above us. That fight was fantastic. It was pretty
technical. It was good.
It was a very well fought fight by both guys coming in. Chad had one before, but you know, Eddie had said before the fight, I've had fucking hundreds of bare knuckle fights. It was just in the streets of Philadelphia. So don't act like this is my first fucking street fight. It was unbelievable. And then the 2 of those guys in the press conference afterwards, just putting the absolute stamp of approval on it. Eddie Alvarez telling anybody who wants to consider fighting over here to get over here because you're going to love it. That fight was unbelievable. It was fucking great.
I loved it. The whole night was incredible.
Yeah, there's been a few in the comments that actually I kind of forgot about, but I will give you I'll give you that. But dude, MVP and Perry was last year. Kleckler and fucking Adams was last year. You guys, this is 2023 we're talking about, so fucking wise up, especially you, Big Ben. You're supposed to be the biggest fan of them all. You know that those were last year, dude. Fucking calling you right out on it.
Hey, we'll put the guy who did the joke right against Jalen, and then we'll put Big Ben. We'll have to put this on a graphic soon.
Yeah, we got 2 student out of the week. The other one that I thought of, but there's been a few in here that also could be very well candidates. I thought Tony Soto and Tyler Goodjohn was a fantastic fight. That was another one that went back and forth. We had it 2-2 going into the 5th round. It could have very well went to a 6. I don't know. This is why I think like main event should be 7 rounds. I don't know. That was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it was insane, by the way. And there were so many people in that crowd that were booing during that fight, and I just could not wrap my head around it.
Those people are fucking idiots.
So concerned with what the crowd was doing during this fight. It was just driving me nuts. I'm trying to watch the fight. It's a crazy ass fight. I don't know how anybody could have been booing during this fight. I don't understand, but there was a lot of booing going on. And I was like, what the fuck what are they watching? What are these people watching? What do they want? You got one guy who fought his ass off for 2 rounds and got tired. And then the other guy, all bleeding out of control from his face, is starting to make a comeback in the fight. And the guy that's tired is just taking every ounce of willpower to stay in that fight and ends up coming back at the end. I don't know what the hell these bozos are watching. It was driving me nuts, man. It was driving me nuts. I couldn't take it.
Nah, I thought it was a great fight all the way to the end, man. And that's one of those ones that like people were saying, I want to see them run that back because it was pretty much 50-50 who everyone thought won that one. You know, I personally thought Tony did enough in that 5th round. I thought he turned it on in the 5th round and took it. But I could see where people thought that Good John should have done it. So that's one that I wouldn't mind seeing again. There's some other ones in here, man. Like the Houston Alexander Jeremy Smith fight was thrown in the comments by somebody.
Yeah.
That was insane. That fight was insane. Like Jeremy Smith took an absolute fucking beating in that fight and then came back. Looked like his face looked like he got fucking stung by 100 bees, and he's in there fucking up against the ropes all the way to the end, trading body shots with the 53-year-old man or 51-year-old man, whatever it was. That was incredible. The Lorenzo Hunt Mike Richmond fight only lasted a round, but it was one of the most exciting rounds I think I've ever been a part of in my life. And we've talked about it numerous times. Yeah, we've talked about it numerous times on this show. It was the most like emotional 15 seconds I've ever seen. Like
that crowd was nuts. They were nuts. Because like we said, you have the Hunt fans that were astonished that he got knocked down, and they all were like, and everybody else that was against Hunt was screaming there, just losing their minds. And then seconds later, it shifted. So you got people jumping up and down for joy, and then they got to stop in the middle of jumping up and down for joy. And then they've become extremely sad, even more than they would have been than the Hunt fans were, because it was such a roller coaster. And then the Hunt fans are just going, oh, like
it was crazy. And then Hunt's whole family was there, and it was just like, it was wild. That was a fucking crazy time. And then we got to see the backstage like interaction with Lorenzo and Mike. They shaking hands and giving each other a hug, saying like that was fucking incredible. It was very gentlemanlike in the back. I know they've probably squashed all that gentlemanly shit now and they want to fight again, but it was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yes, it happened. It happened, right? And it was great. I was going to say,
you got one more?
Lindsay versus Tierney.
Yeah.
That fight, I remember I'm watching on my phone because, like the fight in the middle of the day, right? Because we're here and they're in the UK. So I'm watching on my phone, running around, trying to do stuff around the house. And I'm yelling because how crazy it was,
Yeah.
That was back and forth. You thought, Tierney's up. Nope. Lindsay. That was a great fight. I did enjoy that.
All right. So, hey, I mean, listen, like I said, we're at the halfway point right now. We're going to go back in these comments and we're going to look at people that fights that you think, fighters that you think should be, nominated for all these things. And then at the end of the year, we're going to figure out who should be nominated. And then we're going to get the fan votes on it. So please feel free to keep dropping fight of the year candidates, fighter of the year candidates. And our next category so far in this year, there have been quite a few fucking spectacular knockouts.
Oh yeah, I like this. This is going to be a good one.
I mean, there's been quite a few, and I think we have videos of each one of these knockout candidates.
I got them ready to go.
So the first one, let's do the most recent one first. Brandon Allen versus Trevor Loken. Mike, you got that one ready?
Yep, I do.
This is the most recent. This is a candidate for knockout of the year for sure. Dude.
Watch that again.
Look at his leg, like how his leg turned out and stiffened. That's just a fucking Look at his body like going into fucking rigor mortis. It's crazy. Yeah, so that's definitely a candidate.
That was nuts.
That was absolutely nuts. We were there, we saw it live, and the view that we had was from behind Trevor's head. So all we saw was his feet like kind of sticking out. It was absolutely insane. We watched it a million times after that night, and and that kind of power coming out of a 145er's hands is pretty fucking strong, dude. That was one. I think everybody in the comments knows like which one we're leaning towards here, but we're gonna show all these candidates right now. The next one, we'll go back in time. We'll go. The most recent after that was Eric Lozano against a former champion, Francisco Ricci. Let's put that one because I think a lot of people were counting him out in this one. And and he dropped Francesco Ricci with a pretty nice knockout here. So let's see this one.
I got a couple of replays here that are gonna play.
Boom, dude. And
on the live feed, like it kind of changed the camera angle, like, and you kind of see it at the last second.
The thing is, that knockout wasn't like on the point of the chin. It wasn't on the jaw. It was on the cheekbone.
Yeah.
And he fucking knocked him out like that.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Man.
Oh, yeah, that was. There we go. One more time. Yeah. That sucks for Frank because that's his second in a row.
I know it.
I'm wondering how Mundell's was last year. So good job, Howie. Way to stick with it. You're now on the student of the week list too. Fucking guy.
He might just be making a comment.
I know. I'm just fucking. Howie's always talking shit about everyone, so I could say whatever.
I know. We got to talk shit a little bit. I mean,
hey, and then the last two happened at the same event, and
oh my god.
And the first one was this huge, highly anticipated debut of a former NFL star that went to the UFC. He's 6'5". He's 300 pounds walking around. The dude, you saw the pictures of me back in the day talking to him in Hollywood, Florida. His bicep was bigger than my fucking head in the photos. The dude is just a massive, gigantic man. And you got fucking Josh Watson, who is like a 6 foot tall, 275 pound monster.
Huge.
You know, he's given up 5 inches in height, 10 inches in reach, and he's a New England boy, and we just fucking loved what he did that night. It was fantastic. Check it out.
Here we go.
Sense of urgency from Watson right there. He knows he's got a bad cut. He might have to intercept right now. Oh!
Overcommitted on that hook.
Dude.
I love Chris Lytle. Chris Lytle that night was having a great time, man, because he had this and then look at, oh man, he just over.
And then he does the
look at
he does.
Look how much he swings his whole body around. Oh, yeah. Left himself wide open.
And then he's got "Stay Down" tattooed on his knuckles, and he does the fucking dude. It was a great knockout for a good dude. And Greg Hardy, he said after that, "I'm done with this shit. No more. I'm fucking one and done with Bareknuckle." Josh welcomed him in and saw him to the door. I mean, maybe we will see Greg Hardy back, but I doubt it.
I loved, and I've told this story before, talking to Josh Watson in the hotel the day before and then the morning of the fights. And I remember just kind of going up to him and you know, we always try to be extremely fair to everybody because, you know, we have to report on everyone. And this is something that gets confused all the time, or people just don't give a shit, right? And they get mad at us and they're like, oh, you like this person, or you said this about this person. It's like, we say things about every person because we have to cover every fight and every person. So I'm talking to Josh and I'm talking to him about his fight, right? And I would do the same thing for Hardy. And I was like, you know, if you win this fight, this is going to change everything for you, right? Like this is crazy, but obviously you're here to lose, you know what I mean? And he's like, I know. He's like, I know it. He's like, I've been thinking about it, you know, every day. He's like, I know I'm going to get in there and I'm going to show people why they shouldn't underestimate me. And I remember he did it. And then he knocked out Greg Hardy. We see him before you did an interview with him, and he was with Susan Singari. And once he was done, I walked up and I was like, hey, you did it. And he just looked at me. He's just such a big guy too. And he looked at me and he's like giddy. And he was like, I did. You know, he was like so giddy, so happy. And I was like, man, it's just so crazy to talk to somebody, you know, when they're on.
He knew he was being served up, right?
Oh, he was, you know, I can imagine the emotions going on in his body. Like, man, like he wants to win. He knows he can win, but he knows the guy. There's got to be some sort of doubt in your mind, right? When you're going in there and you believe in yourself, but you know that you're in there to lose. You know that they're bringing in a star and they're hoping that I'm not saying that anybody said they hope they knock him out, but I'm pretty sure they wanted Greg Hardy to win that fight. You know what I mean?
They were trying to set up a Hardy Big Ben. So they were
Right.
like, right. They, I mean,
He's
we
a
never
famous
actually heard
football
anybody say
player.
it. We never heard anybody actually say it, but I'm pretty sure everybody knew that they were trying to get Greg Hardy to get a win and then fight Big Ben in Denver. That was the plan, and Josh ruined it. But it was a fantastic knockout. It was fucking great, but it probably didn't beat the one that happened later on that night. This one has gotten Lorenzo in the talk for fighter of the year. He's going to be in another category in a minute, but right now, knockout of the year so far, I mean, it has to be this one. No.
It was just such a big build up to the fight, and what happened was crazy. And this was like,
it was so fucking
this
crazy.
video was kind of built up for like knockout, comeback, male fighter of the year. You know, he's in all those categories. Lorenzo fights again this year too. He's going to probably fight, say, for the heavyweight title. If that does happen and he wins that title, I mean, it's probably gonna be undeniable that he's gonna be male fighter of the year. How could you not be holding 3 belts? It's insane. So
let's see
this little. There's not any there's no volume to this. I just kind of put this together. It's just such a wild.
There was
fight.
so much. I mean, there was so much tension going into this fight. These two fighters that are just two of the absolute best in the world. A lot of heat going into this one. They truly felt animosity towards each other. Their corners, were yapping at each other. When Mike won out in Denver, what was the first thing that happened? Mike's brother pointed right at Lorenzo and said, "You're next, motherfucker." Next. It was crazy.
Yep. And then Lorenzo
jumped up onto the ring. That shit was like, it was building up. So then this happens. The air gets taken out of the room.
I remember we couldn't even see that when it happened too. That's what's crazy about this, is that when that happened, I didn't even see it happen. You know what I'm saying?
It was yeah, we had to see the replay. It was just fucking wild, man. Yeah, Mike gets the knockdown.
It happened so fast, and the angle that they caught it on the live feed, you couldn't see it really because it was like behind Mike. So the punch, when it landed, Mike just fell,
much
and
power.
you're like, wait, what the hell just happened? Oh my God. And, I wish I did have the volume on that clip, because Chris Lytle, like I was saying during the Greg Hardy fight, he was
his reactions
he
were
went,
great.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He paused. He didn't say anything. Like, Mike gets hit and falls. You don't hear Chris Lytle for like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It seemed like an eternity. All of a sudden he just goes, oh my God. Oh my God. He starts screaming. And it's like, it was that crazy. Like, the whole place started shaking. That night, to me, made me think like BKFC is here to stay. This is not a joke. This is a real deal sport. People need to stop sleeping on it and need to jump on this damn bandwagon. It is time. It is time. You know what I mean? Stop being a bitch. Stop being the I'm a MMA guy or I'm a boxing guy, and just give it a chance and take a look at the sport. I promise you, you will enjoy it, because it's not going anywhere. So you better jump on the damn bandwagon now, or you're just going to miss out, because this is insane. How could you not like that fight or any of these?
Right there. A viewer in the comment section, John Archer, says he was there, so he felt what we were feeling there. I don't know how many people in the audience right now were actually there, but this guy felt it, man. Flabbergasted, as he said, like just blown away by that last 15 seconds of that round. It was just the craziest shit I think I've ever seen. It was just absolutely nuts. And like you said, we thought that night the sport had taken it to another level, and then a few months later they went to Denver and just like took it to another level. So it's just like it's growing and growing. And you know what's crazy is like the rule sets are different between this company and the other bare knuckle company. So we can't really just say bare knuckle as a sport, because everyone's got different rules right now. So when we say that BKFC is taking it to another level, they are. It's different. They're faster rounds. It's 5 2-minute rounds. It's like, so they all have different rings.
BYB is a square, BYB is a triangle, and BKFC has a circle.
Yeah, it's all different. It was fucking crazy. I mean,
different counts. Different
So
rounds, different lengths. It's I don't know, when are they ever going to unify the rules? It's, eventually, in order for it to make it even to a higher level, that's going to happen.
yeah, I think they
And
should.
obviously it's the biggest organization is BKFC by a mile.
And
And so
when we talked to John Morgan, he said that they're going to be talking with all the commissions at once.
Yep.
And he knows for a fact that they have a portion of that conversation set aside for BKFC. I don't know if he meant Bareknuckle
Yep.
as a whole or BKFC as a company.
Yeah.
But either way, it's going to be talked about by all the commissions very soon. And we'll find out. Maybe we can get John Morgan back on here to tell us what came out of those conversations. If anybody else has any more knockouts other than those 4 right now, we went with Brandon Allen, Eric Lozano, Josh Watson, and Lorenzo Hunt.
Yep.
For the best 4 so far in the first 6 months of the year. If you guys got other knockouts that we're missing, please drop them in the comments. We're going to look at these comments afterwards, and we're going to keep trying to compile these things by the end of the year. So please. Now, let's move on to the next one because we don't want to go all that much longer. It's the comeback of the year, and there was 3 of them. One of them we just saw, right? We'll talk about that one real quick because we already just kind of like, I don't want to beat a dead horse, whatever the fuck that saying is, beat a dead horse. You know what I mean? Yeah, you going to show it again? All right.
Yeah, as you talk, go ahead.
Yeah, so we already talked about this. Like we had said in past episodes, we talked to Lorenzo about it. We talked to Mike about it. The first minute and 40 seconds of the fight, it was pretty one-sided as far as the judges were seeing it. And as far as everybody was seeing it, Mike Richmond was winning the fight up until he didn't win the fight.
Yep.
Incredible comeback by Lorenzo to get knocked down, come back and see that shot that he had to put down the middle on Mike. It was incredible. We already talked about it so much.
Yep.
It's he was on his butt 5 seconds before he got up at the 8 count, took a second, they regrouped, and then boom, he lands that shot. And that's a comeback of the year candidate if I've ever seen one.
Yes.
Unfucking real. 2 other ones that we came up with, and if anybody and Scott Farley put Dylan Weinmiller in there. His most recent fight. Yes, you're right. That could be talked about as well. But we went with Kyle Wright against Pat Casey. Kyle Wright had been knocked down three times in that fight, and yeah, this one it happened.
His
in
mouthpiece
Norfolk,
went flying into the crowd.
Yep.
At one
Pat
of them.
Casey knocked his mouthpiece like over the scorer's table into the audience.
Yeah,
he got knocked down 3 hard times. I mean, this kid was taking some shots, and Pat Casey is a longtime MMA veteran. And then Kyle Wright comes back and follows the jab with this right hand, and he fucking blasts Casey.
Dude.
Knocked Casey, like we said, right back to MMA because Casey gets up, shoots for a double leg. The referee stops him from trying to take him down with the double leg. Casey goes into a spinning back kick and fucking kicks Kyle Wright in the stomach.
Yeah.
It was just so fucking wild. And then he ended up dropping him again. And it was incredible. This kid was losing the entire fight up until that series of events right there. And when he turned and tried to kick him, that shit was crazy.
That was nuts. I
Wow.
remember standing there, and one of the very few times that Nate Shook was around for a second. He was walking back and forth from the ring to the back, to the ring, to the back. And he had stopped for a second, and he was like, did he just spin kick him? Like, he was completely like it stopped him in his tracks. Because if anybody has been to these events, and even if you haven't, Nate Shook doesn't stop for a second. So if he stops to talk, something has caught his attention. And he stopped, and he was like, wait, what the hell? Did he just try to kick him?
That happened at BKFC 39. If you guys want to go back and watch it in Virginia.
Virginia's first.
Yeah, that was a good event too. Reggie Barnett defended his title against Daniel Alvarez. Daniel Alvarez. Yeah.
Daniel Alvarez.
That was a great night for us too. That was fun.
That was packed too.
That was packed. Yeah, those people came out, man, for sure. And
You ready for a controversy?
Yeah, you guys ready for the controversy? This is the last one
This
we
is
came
gonna
up
be
with.
controversial, but it definitely is a comeback.
But it was
for
a
belt.
comeback. It really was a comeback because Alan Belcher was losing this fucking fight. And I think he might
Absolutely
have
was losing
lost
this fight.
he might have actually lost the fight twice. You know what I mean?
He may have
he
lost
may
the fight.
have. The counts may have been quite long a couple times. Arnold Adams was doing his damn thing in that fight. Alan Belcher was out there for a really tough night. And
Too many action shots of this either, to be honest.
yeah, there really
It's a
wasn't a
hug.
lot. And then Alan Belcher
There's
comes
this,
back.
which see this right here. This is aggravating because like
This picture doesn't tell the story at all.
Yeah, it really like so. If you've seen
Zion
this
Tomlinson
fight,
says
and
Andrew Glenn won that fight.
yeah, he did, and he does that often. I was actually thinking earlier, Andrew Glenn was in the background, and he's just kind of like staring off, and I was like, I wonder if he's thinking like, did I unplug the iron? You know, like I wonder what he's doing when he's in that ring. Sometimes I'm not quite sure. Yeah, we got the infamous. Yeah, like you can look at Arnold's face, and I can't.
It was.
I just can't believe what he's like thinking in his head, right? Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I know what he's thinking,
dude.
And it's like,
Belcher
hey, I wasn't even that hurt. I should have just jumped up quicker, but he believed that he wasn't close to being counted out. Like, so he should have been up and good, but for whatever reason, it was like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're done. Get out of here.
I said this when we really went in on this after that event, and
so much. So much.
Belcher got a 17 count at one point. I counted that shit fucking 18 times. And it was like 17. I was counting. I was doing the basketball count.
Yeah.
2.
Most
3,
disappointing.
4. And then, like you said, he knocks down Alan Belcher. Referee tells Arnold to move, and then he turns back. He's at 6. 6.
Yeah, when
he turned back around, he was at 6.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, dude. That's bullshit. That's fucking.
When he was counting Adams, you mean? When he was
counting Adams? No, when he was counting Adams. Yeah, when Alan Belcher got the knockdown. When Belcher got the knockdown, he fucking grabs Belcher, tells him to go to the corner, and then he comes back. He goes 6. And you can watch it. You can watch it every fucking time. It was crazy. That count was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But for controversy's sake, it was a comeback victory. I mean, please feel free to share your opinions in the comment section. And if you have some other comeback nominees at this point, 6 months into the year that we're forgetting, I'm sure we are. We're kind of like just blowing through these things. But
yeah, so Christine, the champ, Christine Misfit Faria, we were talking about you just a minute ago, actually. She says there is another counter outside the ring that the ref looks to, which we do know, but watching this over and over again, it was so fast.
There was no way. I said this
horrible.
After that event. I said there was no way that Andrew Glenn looked over at that guy and that guy was at 6. There was no fucking way. There's no way. There's no way that dude was at 6.
And even
Adams got burned. They should have ran that fight back.
You know what count got me the most was, do you remember the first time that Arnold fell? But it was, so he falls and Andrew Glenn goes like this. Nope, it's a slip. But Adams doesn't see that he called it a slip because he's on the ropes and he's looking outside and he's shaking his head, like just looking at whoever's in the crowd, like, damn, like he turns around and he looks at Glenn and he goes, what's up? And then he's like, huh? He goes, what's the count at? And he goes, 8. And so Arnold's like, oh shit, let me get up. Is that 8? Let me get up. How is the count at 8? You called it a slip. You didn't even count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. So how are you all of a sudden at 8 when you said it was a slip? Like you just came up with that. That was like that whole night was bad for him.
It was a bad night. It was a bad night. We'll move on from that one. But right now, I mean,
nothing you can do though. I mean, it is what it is, right?
I think honestly, the Hunt comeback is the shoe-in right now for comeback of the year, as well as probably knockout of the year too. That one moment has like almost solidified him in 3 different categories so far in the 2023 year. And the last one we're going to do, this is a fun one because we love rookies, dude. Rookie of the year event. I mean, the rookie of the year category is new guys on the scene. And we saw the first dude in Myrtle Beach, and he was there with Derek Brunson. And he looked incredible that night, and it was James Brown taking on Steve-O Morris, and he went out there. Steve-O's a tough kid, and we all like Steve-O, but he went out there and like quieted the crowd down a little bit. Actually, fired the crowd up because he was kind of in his home territory. He goes out there, gets the win over Steve Morris, and then comes back and fights Mike Alvarado, a hometown hero in Denver, Colorado, longtime boxing, legend out there in that part of the world. Howie with a good one. You're right. He's our second guy on the list. So James Brown at 2-0 right now with wins over Mike Alvarado and Steve Morris is definitely in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. We also have the young man that we heard so much about, right? We heard so much about this guy. Ryan Perez was pumping him up, and we were so excited to see him. Bryce Henry, Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. Don't let him hear you say Baba Yaga. He does not like that.
The Baba Yaga, fucking John Wick, baby. He is 2-0 right now. Again, he went out there and fought a very tough big dude, Brandon Shavers, and got the win over him, and then came back and went right into a fight with a guy who I believe was ranked in the top 5. I'm pretty sure he was.
He was 3-0 at the time. I don't know if he was ranked yet.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but he was 3-0. Billy Wagner had looked real good in his 3 fights, and he goes out there and fights Billy Wagner in front of his hometown and fucking gets himself a second win. And at this point in his career, he's only 2-0 in the BKFC, and he's got to be in the conversation to fight like a top 5 guy next, I would think.
Oh, must be. He's very good. I mean, you can just tell his poise when he's in there. He's very decisive. He's very fast. And you know what I was impressed with in his first fight is that a lot of, we heard a lot of talk about how good he is and how good he's been doing in boxing. And
he learned as he went.
Yeah, he didn't just run in and try to just take Shavers out. I feel like he went in there and he fought a good fight. And when it was time to end the fight, he ended the fight. He did really well. I think for a young kid, he is very, very, very poised. I couldn't believe it actually how well he did. He's just I think he's great. He's one of the top prospects.
I think that in that first fight against Shavers, like you said, he learned from round to round. Like he picked up little things in that first round that he made adjustments to for the second round, and then the third round. And by the time he was finishing it, he knew exactly what he was going to do to finish Shavers, hitting him. I think he was like starting him with body. He got him keeled over, hit him with a body shot, and then finished with one to the side of his head or something like that. It was fucking fantastic. It was a great performance by him. And then he goes out there against a guy like Billy Wagner and fucking gets a victory out in Great Falls, Montana. That kid's absolutely a Rookie of the Year candidate. This next dude has already fought 3 times. Scott Farley mentioned him earlier tonight, and he is a GOAT combat fighter, and he is named Dylan Weinmiller, and this dude is an absolute beast. He goes out there at Knucklemania, and he loses to Tony Jenkins on a cut, and this is another one of those victims of the stoppage, dude. It was unfortunate for Weinmiller. He gets Dr. Stoppage. Didn't want it to stop, obviously. Gets right back out there and goes out to Denver. Was it in Denver?
Yeah.
Yeah, Denver with the fast knockout. He fucking knocked the dude out in like 17 seconds or something like that. Hit him like 11 times, put him down in the first round, and then, there he is right there. And
I'm surprised he even got a picture.
Yeah,
I missed the whole flight,
right.
The whole fight walking down a flight of steps. I said that earlier.
It was incredible show of power. And then we talked to him after that, and he told us that night that he would like to go up to the 205 division and fight there. He would much rather fight at 205. The cruiserweight division is more fit for him. And then he came on our show, and we talked to him, and we said, you know who you should fight? Steve Townsell. You should fucking go fight Steve Townsell at 205. He's down to fight every time. Sure enough, they booked that fight. He goes down to Hollywood, and he fucking gets himself a come from behind victory. It could be in the comeback of the year category as well. But Dylan Weinmiller, man, he showed some resilience in that fight and fought an absolute savage of a human being in Steve Townsell and finished him with the knockout. And it was Incredible. That's a great shot. These Phil Lambert and Nick Vespi are fucking great.
They get some great pictures. I love when they get like the sweat beads just all over the screen. It almost look like stars in the sky. There's so many sweat beads all over the place. Or the
incredible.
blood.
Yeah, incredible, man. And Scott Farley, he fixed us on that one. It was 7
Actually,
seconds.
That's Denver right there, actually.
7 seconds.
Yeah, 7
not
seconds.
17. I was wrong.
You said 17?
I said 17.
It was 7 because it was the
second fastest knockout in BKFC history. It was incredible. So
I didn't even notice you said 17.
And then I threw another guy on here because he impressed the shit out of me this past weekend in Newcastle in the co-main event. I think you pronounce his name David Oscar, but it's spelled with a W. So I don't know. It's David Oscar to me. He's 2-0 right now, and he's got he's got a unanimous decision in that fight against Marty Hill the other day. Every single time he landed on Marty Hill, you saw a little bit of that guy's soul leave his body. Like that dude, this guy, David Oscar, looks like he has insane power. I don't know. I think he's a 185er, but like him and Weinmiller would be a fun fight because it looks like they both throw fucking Mack
fought
trucks.
At 205.
205. So there you go. Weinmiller and David Oscar.
What's crazy is, hold on a second. Matty Hill.
Yep.
He fought Matty Hill, Franco Harris. It says 205. When he fought Lee Brown, it says 265. What the fuck? It said weigh in at 217. Okay, so he weighed in at 217. So he fought heavyweight. That's kind of how Trujillo.
Oh, so is he 2-1?
Fought at like a low heavyweight weight. You know, they fought at like 215, 217. Yeah. Okay.
I think the front runners. I think. All right. Well, I think the front runners in this category are the first three that we mentioned. James Brown, Bryce Henry, and Dylan Weinmiller all got very bright futures in the BKFC. I like all three of those guys. I think maybe Bryce Henry.
Richardson we mentioned earlier too, because
you know what?
Twice this year? No, he's only twice this year. So twice this year, he's not a rookie in the combat sports game, but a lot of people are not. He's a rookie in BKFC though.
Right. Yeah. That's why I hesitated on throwing him in there because of his career and his background. You know what I mean? Like,
but James Brown fights, right? He's fought for a while in MMA.
I guess you
could
a lot
of people I feel like that's how it is. You're a rookie in BKFC. So, but yeah.
But what you could say that about Rico Franco too, because his only 3 fights in the BKFC are in 2023, right?
Oh, and Bareknuckle, he has fights though.
But I'm saying, like, BKFC Rookie of the Year. I don't know.
No, you know Bareknuckle, he has a ton of fights though.
I know he has that.
That's what I'm saying.
But we just got done saying that BKFC has a different rule set.
Yeah.
So this is a different sport than those other sports. They all have no gloves on.
It's not a different sport. It's just a different rule set.
We just got done saying that though.
No, we're saying it about the rules to get
BKB.
the rules,
BKB's in a square ring with an 18 count and shit, dude. It's way
but they're
different.
still fighting Bareknuckle, you know.
Right.
So
you could stay on the ring for 16 count over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's different. Anyways, hey, those are the only categories we're going to talk about right now. It's been an awesome year so far. Male fighter of the year, female fighter of the year, fight of the year, knockout of the year, comeback of the year, and rookie of the year. If we missed any, I'm not really pulling any out of my fucking brain right now, but they still got a lot of events coming up for the rest of the year. We have a show tomorrow night as well, Mike, and I just got confirmation from a third guest coming on tomorrow night. So if you guys want to go in and fucking drop anything in the comments for any of these categories tonight, we're going to go back and watch this. We're going to write them down. And we will be continuing to tune in to all the events. BKFC 17 is coming up in Lakeland, Florida, one of the best cards of the year so far. And then after that, you got Albuquerque and then Miami. So fucking fantastic, man.
I had a few things here to talk about just before we take off here. There's 3 different things. First of all, we have Lorenzo Hunt, who we've talked about many times. He's holding a seminar Saturday, July 15th. So online seminar, you can sign up for it and, Lorenzo's going to teach
online.
you
So it's an
tips.
online seminar.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty cool.
online. So you can just put that up on your TV. You know, I don't know exactly if he's going to be teaching how to fight, if he's going to be doing a workout. Maybe he does both. I'm not exactly sure, but you know what? Clear out the living room, put him on your TV and get ready. Maybe he'll give you a good workout or something too. The second thing, BKFC tryouts coming up. So July 8th.
Where is that at? Oh, that's at
in Miami.
Yeah.
Mundo Boxing in Miami. So it's
Shit.
Gogo and El Gallo together. And they're going to be doing some tryouts. I wonder who else is going to be there, because down in Miami, there's a whole bunch of people. So I would imagine Palomino is probably going to show up to that.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a bunch of people there. So if you're looking to fight for BKFC.
I think Townsend trains there, right? Doesn't he train there? I think he trains.
I think he does now. Because remember when he was saying he didn't train with anybody, and now he's finally training with people, which is great. Because I don't know why guys don't train with other people, and they say, "Oh, I train by myself." I hate that. Then there's this right here, which I got confirmation that this is coming out by Monday. So keep your eyes peeled on the BKFC app, because if you've ever seen any of these deep cuts episodes, they are friggin' awesome. And go watch the champs. Christine Misfit Faria. There was a very good one that came out before BKFC 41. That was fantastic. There's
Mike Perry's was good
Mike
too.
Perry. Yep, that one was awesome too. Like, these are really, really, really well made. So I'm super interested in this. Should be out by Monday. So pay attention, because it just says premieres this July, and I was looking into when it was coming out, and I was told it will be out by Monday. So,
dude,
that's what I got.
Yeah. I think Evan Zentar has a big deal with that, right? That's his baby. Those are his projects.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yes.
So
I think he's the executive producer on those.
Yeah, he's going to end up getting himself some sort of award at some point for those fucking deep cuts, because they're great. They are really great. Yep. And with that said, man, it's been a fun run so far. I wish I can get to more events in the upcoming future, but maybe in September we'll start hitting the fucking road again, Mike. I can't wait for that one. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., we're back, and we have Ryan Reber on tomorrow night. We have, who's the second one, Mike? I'm fucking slipping right now.
All right. Well, so
T
for
Murph.
everybody. So I was going to say, Kyle, I don't know, because you didn't tell me whether or not whether they said they were coming on or not.
Here we go. Okay.
Yeah,
so breaking news for you, Mike. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to start off the show tomorrow night with Royal Ryan Reber.
Feelers, but I didn't know who.
Royal Ryan Reber will be on, taking on Travis Thompson at BKFC 47. Reber will be on to start off the show tomorrow night. We got T Murph making his return to the BKFC Squared Circle at BKFC 47. He'll be on after Ryan Reber. And then El Gallo himself, Brian Duran, who we just talked about, will be hosting the tryouts down in Miami. Brian Duran will be on tomorrow night at 9:45 to talk about his past fight and the future for him in the BKFC. So, should be an exciting fight.
Cannot wait,
dude.
I'm excited.
3 characters tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Reber, T Murph, and El Gallo. This should be a fun one tomorrow night. And I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. We kind of wanted to take a step back from having guests tonight. It's been a super busy time for us, and coming off the 4th of July weekend and everything, it was just a good time for us to say, you know what? Why don't we just fucking review the first half of the year, relive some of the fucking best moments of 2023 so far, and we'll get back to guests tomorrow night. So I'm good, Mike. What do you got, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. I had those last bits of news to tell everybody. Get out there and try to get into the BKFC. Do it. A lot of people ask. They're like, hey, how do I get in? How do I do this? There you go. Go to Miami. Flights are cheap.
We get a lot of people around here asking, how do I get in? And we tell them, make it to a tryout. But none of the tryouts. I mean, there was the one time up in Belfast, New York, that they had it around here. But man, maybe Zach Kalmus and I don't know, maybe Chris Sorrow, those guys could get together and meet somewhere in the middle, maybe in Massachusetts somewhere, and hold a fucking New England tryout, because there's a bunch of people around here that have been asking. That's all I could say. Go to the fucking tryouts because you know what? A lot, Lorenzo was a fucking tryout guy. You know what I mean? It's like there's a whole slew of champions
Soto
and
was a
top
tryout guy,
dogs.
wasn't he?
Yeah, it's
There's a bunch.
There's a bunch, and we're not going to go through them right now. But get out there, like Mike said.
Get out there and get something. You want to do it? Do it. Make it happen. Ain't none to it but to do it. Thank you, everybody who tuned in, and we will see you all tomorrow night. Great show. See you later.
Peace.
Peace.